it's my absolute delight to welcome you here to the SPARC's first Ignition meeting. I'd like to acknowledge that we are holding this afternoon's event on the land of the Kulin Nation and acknowledge their elders past, present and future. I'm only going to speak for a very small period of time about the SPARC and what I love, in particular about transport, connectivity and pavements, as there are many people in the room who know that I can possibly speak about this topic for a long time, and we have a very short, tight agenda. We're going to hear from some experts in the field. I would also like to acknowledge some of our special guests in the room. We have Diantha, who's the SPARC Hub Director, Mike Shackleton, who's the Research Director. We have Jeff Walker, I was going to say Barnes, I knew that wasn't right, sorry. Jeff Walker, who's the Dean of Civil Engineering at Monash University. We have Elizabeth Croft, who is the Dean of Engineering for Monash University. And we have Michael Calbianco, yeah, I know I should say, sorry, who is the CEO of ARC, who's been our great host for this afternoon's event and first kick-off meeting. Bringing together multidisciplinary expertise across academic, industry and government is a way to accelerate innovation across a broad spectrum. We have many experts here in the room who have created careers in pavement, who are leading in their own right. But this is the first time that we have brought together all of the experts in the field to really, in pavement, to really challenge and disrupt what's been happening in that industry. Pavement is not only the thing that you drive over to get to a place. It connects communities, it's the economic backbone of communities, and it is now a technological connectivity landscape that will allow us to embrace the transport modes of the future in an autonomous landscape. I'm very excited about the group of people we've organised together to work on some real challenges in the industry, and I foresee many world-leading outcomes and problem solving coming from this group with connectivity across the university landscape, both local, nationally and internationally, likewise in industry and likewise at levels of government. So can I congratulate those in the room who are part of the SPARC Hub and bring it together, and you are hereby challenged to disrupt the pavement industry and the transport connection side. It's my pleasure now to introduce the Hub Director, Diantha. Now, bear with me, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about Diantha's background, which is significant and world-leading in a number of contribution fields. Diantha is Deputy Head of Civil Engineering at Monash University and the Director of SPARC Hub. His current primary areas of research are on saturated soils, geo-infrastructure, including pipelines and road pavements, and structural health monitoring using advanced sensing such as fibre optics, very relevant at the moment. One of the highlights of his research career is the innovation of the MPK framework for compact soil modelling that identified a direct link between traditional compaction curve and finite element modelling of material performance. He has over 300 peer-reviewed publications on a diverse range of topics. He's a chartered professional engineer, a fellow of Engineers Australia, and has received several world-leading awards, both local and international awards for his work, including Water Association Awards, BHERT Awards, and the Vice Chancellor's Award for Research. Please join me in welcoming Diantha.
Challenge to handle all these. The nose look at the screen. Thank you very much, Madeline, for that generous introduction. Thank you very much for attending the SPARC Hub Ignition function. Let me give you a brief introduction to SPARC Hub activities by answering 3 questions. first question is why SPARC is needed. We believe in Australia a transformation in payment industry is needed to solve its short-term, medium-term and long-term problems to be the world leader in this industry. We spend about $20 billion annually in road, and which is the highest per capita in the world. We should not be satisfied with the status quo, since there are many challenges inherent to us, and the global landscape in this field is changing. Some of the challenges we face include the traffic and population growth and response required for sustainability and changing climatic effects, and advent of digital technologies, including connected autonomous vehicles. We need to address these challenges by making our road technology smarter and greener and making our industries world leading. And SPARC Hub provides an unprecedented collaboration platform and a 5-year program to pursue this vision. I would like to thank all the partners and chief investigators for sharing this vision. Thank you very much. Next question I would like to answer is, how does SPARC achieve its goals? In order to address these challenges, we need unprecedented partnerships and collaboration. We need to harness the brain power and accumulated knowledge in this industry from academia, industry, and Australian Road Research Board. Through SPARC, we have just done that for the first time in Australia. We have harnessed the support of all sectors in the road industry. And that's our mission for the SPARC Hub. As you can see from this picture, we have all sectors involved in the SPARC Hub, including Australian government and asset owners, construction companies like Civic and other construction agencies, and big bodies like Austroads, APA, and condition assessment suppliers, and material equipment suppliers, and overseas partners, local universities, and also Australian Road Research Board. And in the middle, we have the people who are directly involved in research as partner investigators, students, and other researchers. So providing next smart generation payments for the end users, which is Australian community. So we have 22 industry partners involved in this SPARC Hub, as you can see from these logos. Through them, we have specialist partner investigators, 22 of them involved in this SPARC Hub, directly providing input to the research projects. We have 8 local universities involved, as you can see here, led by Monash University. We also have 7 overseas partners and partner investigators involved, providing input from international perspective and also providing research input. Importantly, we have 28 academics from 8 local universities working as chief investigators in the SPARC Hub projects, which is unprecedented in Australian history in payment research. In addition to them, we will have 40 bright minds we will recruit to the SPARC Hub to do PhDs and other research as researchers. With skill enhancement, they can become the future beacons for the Australian road research and road industry. You can hire them for your companies and train them to become the leaders in this area and leaders in the world. And all this will be undertaken under the guidance of industry and independent scientific advisory boards through the SPARC Hub governance policy. And we have included that policy in the mementos package we handed out for the attendees today. The third question I would like to address is, what does SPARC Hub going to do? We believe innovation and transformation is centered to SPARC Hub in line with ARC RH scheme. They should come from both in technical areas and technology. Payment engineering may look simple, but actual science is very complex. It is so complex that engineers have adopted, in many cases, top-down, highly empirical approaches to solve problems. On the other hand, academics commonly opt to tackle complex scientific problems at depth. This means some of the challenges we undertake may be risky, but we will advance and innovate while keeping the practical nature of the problem in focus. Here we try to follow Einstein's principle. That means finding techniques which are as simple as possible, but not too simple. Over the last 5 years, I had the chance of leading a collaborative research project in critical water pipes, and that program led to paradigm shifts in global pipe asset management. So with that experience, we look forward to emulate even better success within SPARC and share that success with our partners. So we intend to undertake our program under 5 academic themes, led by 5 theme leaders. So as you can see, these are the 5 themes. Innovative materials and modeling and design, theme 1. Smart sensing, construction and maintenance monitoring, theme 2. Payment rehabilitation, environmental footprint minimization and infrastructure resilience, theme 3. And theme 2 will be led by Professor Jeffrey Walker from Monash. Theme 3 will be led by Professor Sanjay from Swinburne. And theme 4, future transport, demand adaptation and safety, will be led by Professor Hari Wu from Monash. And theme 5, advanced design, construction specification and smart integrated asset management, will be led by Professor Sujiva from RMIT. So this picture we have developed to get a glimpse of the whole hub activities in a glance. So you can see we have on the left theme 1, we are testing and materials and innovations in there and design. And then the construction, can we do construction in an intelligent way? Intelligent compaction is part of it. And then condition assessment, can we do condition assessment and then link it back to the design and have a feedback loop there, and therefore better future analytics for the remaining life can be developed. And then we have the interaction of payments, and finally the rehabilitation of payments and asset management, integrated asset management. And then can we look at a possibility of using a digital twin for the road payment, where all the data is used effectively for the benefit of optimized use of the payments. So that's the plan, ambitious plan we have, and challenging program we have developed, and we work in partnership with our partners to achieve that. Monash has invested space, special space for the hub in this building next to Monash Civil Engineering and Electrical Engineering, and we'll be housed there. So therefore we invite our partners to come and spend time there and send your staff to work there and so on. And we have a website and also other multimedia activities. So I would like to pay special thanks to people who came from interstate. There are investigators like Chao, Gordon, and a few others, and Amir, John, and so on. So thank you very much for coming from interstate. We appreciate that very much. And also, finally, I'd like to thank Michael and Mike for organizing this function here. Thank you very much as well. Finally, I'd like to thank from the Hub branded way from the executive committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Diantha. And you can see all the sort of themes, how it's going to be coming together, the multidisciplinary nature of the problem solving and the challenges that have already been put on the table that the Hub will address. So very exciting all round. A very important partner of the SPARC Hub is ARB, Australian Road Research Board, and we're in their lovely facilities this afternoon. And it's my pleasure in a moment to invite the CEO, Michael Calviano, sorry, I'm having difficulty this afternoon, to come and say a few words. But before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about Michael's own quite diverse background that includes significant love of pavements. So Michael was appointed as the Chief Executive of ARB in November of 2016, after he'd been with the Australian Asphalt Pavement Association, or APA as Diantha was calling it, for 3 years prior to that. He has extensive chief executive experience in the flexible pavement and bituminous servicing industry. He graduated from James Cook University with an honours degree in civil engineering and commenced work with the Department of Main Roads in Queensland. He subsequently completed a Master of Philosophy at Nottingham University, which is one of our partners in the Hub. Could be coincidence, maybe the alumni link, I'm not sure, from that sort of side, and where he actually researched the application of treatments to prevent reflective cracking from cement-treated bases through asphalt pavements. He's gained a graduate diploma in business administration as a qualified company director and mediator. He brings to the Hub more than 35 years of experience and a fantastic enthusiasm and expertise in the roads, transport sector, pavements, connected and autonomous vehicles. Please join me in welcoming Michael to this group.
Thank you, Madeline. Thank you all. Diantha gave me the same test of answering 3 questions for you to inform you of the SPARC Hub. And before I do that, I'd formally like to welcome you all to ARRB. This is the National Transport Research Organisation, and you're in the National Transport Research Centre. So for Australia and New Zealand, this is where it all happens. For delivery from research into practice, the translation, the development of specification standards, guides to practice, this is where it happens. We have offices in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide and Perth. And as you look down Main Street, Australia's best flexible pavements laboratory. In fact, the world's leading flexible pavements laboratory. So the first question that Diantha asked me to identify and talk to you about is why the SPARC's important to ARB. So ARB, as the National Transport Research Organisation, is redefining, in our words, what collaboration really means. And collaboration for us now is about embedding our people with other organisations to share some learnings, develop some new outcomes and implement the next generation of activities. When Bill and Diantha came to us 18 months ago now, sat in our offices in Vermont South with this proposal of a smart pavements hub. Our team, led by Mike Shackleton, said, great idea, but now let's get down to the tin tacks. What does it really mean? What outcomes are we going to achieve? And I think it was music to Diantha's ears to know that we were there to help Monash to translate. Monash have done a magnificent job, and Diantha and the team are to be congratulated for translating through an ARC grant for the first time, or ARC Hub for the first time, a smart pavements outcome. As he said, 20 billion a year is spent pavement engineering in Australia. $300 billion national asset. It's the first time we've had academic endeavour supported by the ARC in this field. So for us at ARB, it means a really closer working relationship with Monash to enable our staff to get some of those skill sets that the academic world brings, and to allow our staff the opportunity to translate for our road agency shareholders. The second question was, why is SPARC important to the road industry? So as I said, ARB is the translator. So for our road industry partners, and we've got an industry advisory board meeting after this, for our road industry partners, it's about shortening the innovation cycle. You know, the pavement sector, the road sector, has been crying out for a pathway for innovation for a very long period of time. We have had over probably 15 or 20 years a decline in engineering excellence in our road agencies nationally. Industry is filling the gap. Industry needs university, academic research, art translation to enable the innovation cycle to happen, to give confidence to the road agencies that these are well thought through, really well understood, sustainable outcomes that are going to be achieved. So for industry, it's about the development of next generation standards. It's about translation of innovation and giving us an opportunity to do things smarter, better and more efficiently. The third part is, why is it timely now? Well, I was only reflecting earlier today, we had the Vic Roads Association in today. Retired engineers out of Vic Roads. We had just over 50 of them in our offices with Kevin Doherty and myself. Kevin Doherty's the Chief Executive of Office of Projects Victoria, talking about what's next. And we're on this cusp of enormous change in the transportation sector in Australia. Madeline identified it earlier. The whole translation to a mobility future, a mobility enabled future, not by a road system, but by a mobility system. So the research that's going to happen through this SPARC Hub will really fire that idea that it can't be done and introduce the idea how best to do it. We have to really change quickly in our space. We're building infrastructure that's going to last hundreds of years, but we have to do it in a way that is enabling of the future, not a blocker for the future. We cannot keep building the infrastructure of old. We are going to deny ourselves and our communities the opportunities for the future if we do that. So we must change. We must change with science and with rigour and develop the new outcomes. So for me, that's the great thing about the SPARC Hub. It's a wonderful opportunity to reset, cast the stone out as far as we can, and provide the industry, the community with the outcomes that they're looking for. And we are fully committed and really looking forward with a great sense of expectation to working with Monash University, Australia's premier university in the engineering world, to really enable our people to learn, to translate some of those learnings into practice and have a great time while we're doing it. Thanks for being part of it. I look forward to sharing some journey with you over the next few years.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Michael. And again, thank you for hosting us and doing the first kick-off meeting in ARB's fantastic offices. It's now my pleasure to invite Professor Elizabeth Croft to the lectern. She is the Dean of Engineering at Monash University, Australia's top engineering school. I do have some bias, I'm an alumni of that, but really we've been ranked #1 for the last few years and we are going to maintain that very strongly. Elizabeth joined us in January of last year from UBC in Vancouver, Canada. She has brought a breath of fresh air, energy and excitement to the faculty, and we are being challenged on multiple levels to drive to outcome and have impact in all areas of endeavour. In her own right, she is recognised internationally as an expert in the field of human-robotic interaction and has an exceptional record of advancing women's representation and participation in engineering, an area I hope she's going to emulate here sooner rather than later, and I've actually already seen results, so she's got that well under control. As I said, prior to joining Monash, she was Associate Dean of Applied Science and Professor of Mechanical Engineering and the Director of Collaborative Advanced Robotics and Intelligent Systems Laboratory at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada. She also is a Fellow of the Canadian Academy of Engineers Canada, Engineers Australia and the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. Professor Croft received her PhD from the University of Toronto in Mechanical Engineering. Please join me in welcoming Elizabeth to the lecture.
Thank you. Well, I will start by also acknowledging
I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. And I would also like to thank Madeline for a lovely introduction, Michael for the vision to see what could be the future of this hub, to recognize Jayanta and his team with Jeff for their leadership in bringing this to Monash, and to thank Helena, who all the behind-the-scene works. We have 6 hubs at Monash, which is fantastic. This leads the entire country, and it is Helena and her team that make the magic happen behind the scenes. So thank you so much for all your support of all our fantastic researchers. It makes a huge difference to us, and we're gratefully appreciative. So hubs are a major investment in Australia Research Council funding scheme. And I think that the wonderful thing about hubs is they really are, in this case, where the rubber meets the road, where science is applied for the good of the country, and it really makes a huge difference, this kind of investment where we see academics coming together in a group with industry, with NGOs, with others, to make a huge difference in the future of our country. And the Australian Research Council's ITIR, or Industrial Transformation Research Hubs, support this kind of collaborative research activity between the higher education sector and the industry. And it really has that strategic focus on outcomes that are not independently realizable by individual research organizations or by individual companies. They provide the kind of funding to universities together with industry to engage in leading-edge research on new technologies that provide economic, commercial, and social transformation that benefits our industry partners, but really benefits the entire country in what they do. Excuse me. And it is expected that this hub will have a mixture of projects on all the TRL levels, really going from very basic research to things that will walk out the door and we will see applied in the near future. As I mentioned, Monash is very fortunate to have fantastic partners and fantastic support that has led to 6 hubs. And we consider the SPARC Hub to be a major research entity, and it is with 7 other great Australian universities, and we are absolutely grateful to those universities for their efforts and for their warm collaboration. SPARC is not our only contribution. Oh, thank you, Madeline. Lovely. SPARC is not our only contribution. We also have the NanoHub Hub, which is another great investment in building excellent facilities and excellent research that serves the broader industry. So as we celebrate the partnerships today, and I thank all of the people in this room for the wonderful work that they're doing, we invite our industry partners to work closely with us by actively participating in the research programs, by working closely with our PhD students who are the talent pipeline for the future of Australian industry, along with our undergraduate students. Ask me about cooperative education and the Mighty program later. And enhancing the skill base with the training of students, engineers, and research for our joint future. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And you can see how she's shaping up the engineering landscape at Monash already just from that brief presentation. So through the hub connection, you will engage a lot more with Elizabeth and the multidisciplinary faculties across all of the universities. It is now my pleasure to invite Mike Shackleton to share some words with the group as well. He's Deputy Director of Industry of the SPARC Hub, and he's also the Chief Research Officer at ARC. He's had more than 30 years' experience in road infrastructure research, development and implementation in South Africa, Asia and Australia. His passions are enabling the development of researchers, scientists, engineers and other professionals in transportation and the strategic management and governance of the research and development activities which which would focus on his PhD research. Mike, please come to the lectern and chair.
What do you do when you're the fifth speaker in a talented lineup like that? I spent most of last week wrestling with that, so I decided to come at this from a slightly different angle. And what I wanted to do was highlight the fact that the ARC has funded this through their Industry Transformation Research Hub program. And the reason that is important is because it gives insight into the expectations in return on investment that the ARC are looking for from their own investment in this hub. Happily, most of those coincide with what the speakers have been saying today, so that's a good verification. The two key concepts in the Industry Transformation Research Hub program are Industry Transformation and Research Hub. So we've heard a lot about how we need to transform the industry from our various speakers, and there are two ways of doing that. Firstly is through the traditional research and development activities. We will go away, we'll have a look at industry problems, we'll do some rigorous research on them, and we'll find ways to make significant changes to the way we build the infrastructure of the future. So that's not find ways to change how we build infrastructure in the past, but how we will find ways to build infrastructure in the future. We'll make the pavements more durable, more cost effective, more sustainable, safer, but primarily smarter in the sense of enabling that connected and autonomous future. The second aspect of industry transformation that the Hub allows is in the way in which we tackle our challenges. Fundamentally, and we have mentioned this afternoon, is demolishing the silos that exist between the various sectors, public sector, private sector and academia, demolishing those and using the entire intellect and experience of our industry to focus on the particular problems and the challenges of the future. It's what we have done, or what ARP has done is follow that exact path. The building you're in today embraces those principles, breaking down the silos, working together. There's no problem in our field today that can be solved by a single discipline. So there is no problem that can be solved by people tucked away in offices. Let's create a vibrant facility with plenty of space for students from whichever university involved in the Hub to come and spend some time here. Plenty of space in the laboratory for those CELSAM students to come and do their work, play, engage with the people who write the guides for the industry. The Research Hub facilitates this transformation in two ways. The research program that Jayantha spoke about a lot earlier. But more importantly, it acts as a test bed for us to develop relationships, networks and trust that we need for the unprecedented levels of collaboration that we are going to have to deploy if we are to solve these problems. To do all this, the ARC has provided funding for 5 years, after which this collaboration, these business practices and transformation must become business as usual. It has to be the way we do things beyond the office world. We have 5 years, therefore, but we also have only 5 years. So time's a wasting, and that's why we will be moving to have tea and coffee just now, where we can start building those relationships straight away. There's the Industry Advisory Board meeting at 4:45, to which observers are welcome to join the directors. And at 4:45 there will be a champagne toast to the success of the Hub straight after the Industry Advisory Board meeting. I would hand over now, but Jayantha mentioned to me just beforehand that he had something else that he'd like to do.
So for the dignitary speakers today, or VIPs, we would like to hand out a small memento from the Hub. So please, Michael, if you could come. This is actually nothing else other than the hub agenda. But but we'll do so Elizabeth, please, if you'd like to come forward as well, and we would like to give you our update here. The final one is for Madeline. Thank you very much for kindly agreeing to MC today's proceedings, and we'd like to acknowledge your support during the initiation of the hub as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Excellent. And now, can I invite you all to show your appreciation for the speakers through a final show of hands. We are going to have a networking break, and as was mentioned, 3:45 into the first kick-off ignition meeting. Those people who want to be observers, you are more than welcome. Otherwise, network away, meet new people, make connections, do some multi-disciplinary collaboration and make some impact. Thank you very much. Thank you.